Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome. It's Nurse Richard, the Wax Wizard. Thanks for joining me. Have a look at this. This was an absolute ball ache to get out. There's no other word for it. It was a ball ache. This is the fining tube. Now, this is, you can already see, can't you, what's happened here? This lovely woman, she was a right character, she was. Wouldn't shut up during the procedure, though, unfortunately, so I had to keep stopping. She kept making all kinds of weird noises. You might hear some of them on the audio. That's if you can hear them over me waffling on. She kept going all the time. And I was tempted at one point to actually turn it off from the monitor in front of her, so she couldn't see it. But she was so fascinated by it. She was amazed, and I wanted to show it to her just so she could see what an absolute plonker she'd been. And I think you can already tell, can't you, what's going on here. So as soon as I touch this, you see it kind of pull the moisture out of this thing, and it reveals a load of cotton wool. That's what those little white fibres are there. And as soon as I had to go at this, I thought, oh, this is going to take me a while, this, because cotton wool doesn't grip in this, especially in the fine suction tube, very well at all. Now at this point, I think it's way too dangerous to go down there with forceps, in my opinion. Some might, but I think it's way too dangerous for anyone to go that close to the eardrum with a pair of forceps. You've got to bear in mind the size of them. They're a lot bigger than what you can see here, a lot bigger. And I figure I'll try and at least pull it a little bit closer towards me and pull it out of this recess before I can then go and grab it. Now, I did try a bit later on. You won't see that in the video because I didn't get it, so I thought, what's the point in putting it in? But I literally couldn't fit it in her ear. Now, what you can see here is a big circular ear, and you're thinking, oh, well, that's just easy. Just get that in there and pinch it and pull it out. It's not as straightforward as that. There are some, the ear isn't straight. It's got bends. The entrance is very narrow, and you have to bear in mind, I have to get in the endoscope, which is, I'm just going to show you here, which is here. And that is fairly big. You know, I don't need to get all of it in, just the tip of it to maybe about here. But then you also have to fit the forceps in as well, which are a lot bigger than the fining tubing. Now you can see this entrance isn't massive, and to be able to fit that in, you've got to really stretch it with the stretch one side with the endoscope, maybe stretch the other side with the forceps, and it was impossible. It really was impossible. I defy anyone to have a go at getting this thing with forceps, not when it's this deep anyway. So I thought we'll try drowning it in oil first. I've sprayed a load of olive oil in there. Oh, and I must apologise, towards the end of this, I didn't record the shot of the eardrum afterwards because she was chatting that much. She completely distracted me, and it was something as simple as didn't press the button on the endoscope when I went in. But you'll see it all comes out. There is a tiny little bit, that dark bit on the side there. There was a few little specks of that left, but not much at all, to be honest. Nothing worth going in for, and the eardrum looked okay. Now, whether it was just a ball of cotton wool or the actual tip of the end of a bud, I'm not sure, but you will be amazed when I start peeling it from in that recess, particularly on the bottom left-hand side. You'll think, where's all that just come from? And I was surprised as well. I really didn't think there was that much of it lurking down there, trapped around that bend. Now you can already see it's just lifted up a little bit of skin on the bottom left-hand corner there. Now, I don't think I've spotted that yet, but as soon as I spotted that, I thought that's where I need to go and get, because it'll hopefully separate it around that corner towards like 9 o'clock-ish. And that's where the biggest chunk actually comes from, not from down here. But it's frustrating to do these ones, and I know it's probably frustrating to watch as well. But you've just got to bear with it, because what you also want to do is when I come out and then go back in with the tube, I don't want that string of cotton wool to go in the tube, but because it's loose and floppy about, it's hard to avoid it. So I'm trying to actually avoid it there and go around to the left hand side, but it will follow the suction tube as you go in. So you just got to persevere and just keep wriggling. So here is where I'm trying to just avoid it and get that tiny little flap there. And this is where we finally start seeing some progress. Any new followers, by the way, or subscribers that have found me, whichever platform you're watching, hello and welcome. I've been here for a while, so I don't know what you've been looking for beforehand, but thanks for finding me anyway. If you've never watched any of my videos before, then it's a little bit about the procedure, but I will bore myself and bore you by talking about the same things about ears all the time. So I would like to put a little bit different things in there, maybe a few little stories, something a little more entertaining for you. And recently we've started Dad Joke of the Day, so I've got a couple for you here today. And yes, you might well have heard some of these before. I don't make them all up, I just find them in places sometimes. So I've got a couple for you today. So the kids have been mithering me to get more animals, which we've got enough of in the house anyway. We've got a couple of dogs and a cat. We've had gerbils, all sorts, you name it. They mithered me to get a goldfish. So I went to the pet shop and I said, I'd like a goldfish, please. And they said, would you like an aquarium? I said, well, I don't care what star sign it is. Look at this here. So this is what I was talking about. I really didn't think that would come, it would be as big as it actually is when I start pulling that from that side there. And here's where it finally do start making some progress. I think in the end I had to go to the full-size tube, which as I've brought it a bit nearer towards is fine. And I think it was just at this point here that I actually did try the forceps, but A, she was moving around a lot, B, she wouldn't stop talking, okay. And C, it was just really difficult to fit it in, to be honest with you. Okay. So I think I had a further go and then went to the full-size tube in the end, and that's what did the trick. I just turned the light down there because the cotton wool can be very reflective, it can really glare back, so that's why it's gone a little bit darker. Right, second one of the day, I'll give you a ear-related one as well. How many ears does Captain Kirk / Picard, depending on how old you are, how many ears does he have? He's got 3. He's got the left ear, the right ear, and the final front ear. I love that one. So as you can see, almost there now. So just bear with it, bear with it. And I think it's at this point, is it? Yeah, that I come in with the full-size tube. That's a bit of oil you can see hanging around all over the place. It's making it fly up everywhere. And like I said, apologies, you won't see the eardrum afterwards. But I promise you, it was all right. I just didn't record it. She just distracted me too much. Look at that, just pop up there. And I slowed it down so you can all see it coming out. There it is. So is it a full tip of a bud? Not sure. I really slowed it down there. It's very possible. It's very possible. There's certainly a lot of cotton wool in there. That's for sure. So if that's you and you've got a cotton bud in your hand and you're thinking, yeah, should I just then stop it? Stop it right now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. But for now, take care of yourself and I'll see you soon. Ta-da.